Hey everybody, it's Susan here with Pumpkin Hill Stampers. I have a Stampin' Show and Tell for you today. As you can see, we're going to be using the Foxy Friends stamp set. This is the project we're going to do. And I was going to make a project with this set anyway for an event I am doing. But then I also came across the current Freshly Made Sketches challenge, and this is their sketch number 340. And so I decided to incorporate the two together. So I did that. So I'll have all their information on my post next week on the Show and Tell News. So make sure you subscribe. That link is below. Today we're going to be using Cajun Craze and Soft Suede to do our stamping. Foxy Friends doesn't have any words in it, so I'm decided to borrow the I Just Love You stamp from the Petal Palette bundle. So that's where I'm getting my stamps from. We're going to use the Nature's Poem Designer Series paper, which is new because it had this great textured Cajun Craze DSP, but the flip side is this leaf in the Mint Macaron and the Cajun Craze. So I'm actually going to use both pieces, both sides, in our stamp for our card front. So let me go ahead and show you how we put this project together. Okay, so the kit, as will be described in the newsletter, is a Cajun Craze base. Okay, and I have it opening up down. I have a piece of Very Vanilla that's going to become our liner on the inside. Then I have two pieces of 3 by 5.5 Very Vanilla. Okay, and this is going to go on the front here, and then they have our little tag for across the center. Okay, so we are going to be making a sandwich of sorts on the front of our card. I don't know if you can see that, but on the front of our card we're doing that. And actually I've decided, you know what, we only need one of these, so I'm going to only use one. I did use two, but it's really kind of not necessary, so we're going to put it together with one. Okay, so we are going to first put our Designer Series paper onto our Very Vanilla cardstock. Okay, now when I do this, I'm going to adhere it on the very ends because we're going to die cut with the oval on the Big Shot the centerpiece out, and that's what's going to give us the oval with the flip side pattern. So let's get our snail. So I'm just going to put it on the bottom edge and the top edge. And I'm going to put that right on top of our Very Vanilla. Now this is to give this a little bit of strength, because when we get done and we're putting it on our card, we're going to pop it up on dimensionals. So we want to make sure that it's got a little bit of stiffness to it. Okay, before we do anything else, let's go ahead and Big Shot out and die cut our oval. So here's the Big Shot. And I've got my standard Big Shot plate on the bottom. Now as you can see, these two cutting plates have been thoroughly used. But that happens when we use our Big Shots. Okay, so I'm putting the combined DSP with the Very Vanilla backer down, and I'm just going to place my oval on there, trying to center it, but on one end because we're going to put expression on the bottom. I'll put my second plate on top. That's okay. Put my second plate on top, and we're going to run that through. Now sometimes my table shakes a little, so bear with me as I cut that framelit out to get our oval. And that should be good to go. Okay, so let me clear this off, and we'll keep going. So when you pull your oval framelit out, because we only put adhesive on the top and on the bottom, I now have a vanilla oval and a die cut double-sided DSP. Okay, and we're going to use this side to use in the backer piece of our card. Okay, so now let's do some stamping. So on my card front, and I'm going to be using Soft Suede, I'm going to stamp some mushrooms from this set. Now I've put all three onto one stamp just to kind of give them a pattern. And so I'm just going to stamp a couple of mushrooms as a background. I'm not doing the whole card. You certainly could add as many mushrooms as you wanted to, but I just kind of want them to peek on the sides there. Okay, while we're doing mushrooms, I'm going to do the insert. So this is going to be the liner. As you can see, I've stamped along the base there to give the inside a little bit of embellishment as well. Tie in the front and the inside. So that piece we can go ahead and adhere in while we're at it. Sometimes you want to stamp that inside liner piece before you adhere it so that if you don't get it the way you want it, you have a second chance. Flip it over, use the other side of the cardstock. Okay, so there's the inside. Now let's go ahead and do our fox. So the fox, since we're using Cajun Craze as our DSP and our card base, I'm going to stamp him in Cajun Craze. So this is where I'm taking the back side of the DSP and I'm going to stamp this fox right in there. So it's a photopolymer stamp, so you just have to ink it up and then we're just going to stamp it onto the oval. Very good. And then I'm going to put on the face. Actually, we're going to stamp it again because we're going to die cut this face with the punch. So just need to do the face. So I'm doing that on that scrap oval piece that came out of our Very Vanilla. And I did it in the wrong color. Do you see that? So flip it over, try again. Alright. Get the brown ink off my stamp. See, we all make mistakes. So make sure I stamp that in Cajun Craze. He'd look pretty silly with a brown head and a Cajun Craze body. So let's do that again. I'm going to stamp the head, this time in Cajun Craze. And then I'm going to add the face with the soft suede. Just like that. Okay, now I will bring in my Fox Builder punch and punch out the face. And all those other pieces that pop out as well. Let's see, here is his face. Ta-da! Okay, so let's see, we've got our front and our inside. We've got our fox. Our face is going to go on with the dimensional, so that can go on now. See what I mean by two sides of the cardstock? If you make a mistake, you just flip it over and try again. No one's going to see the back side, so I'm popping his face up, just like that. Okay, so now we're going to put our front on. We're going to pop that up on dimensional so it is a bit of a window, and then we're going to put that in behind it. So let me flip this over. Let's put dimensionals in the corners. And then I'm going to put one on the top of that window and one at the bottom of the window just to give it a little more support. Go ahead and peel off all the backers. And flip it over, and we want to center it. So you can use your grid paper to help you center it. I'm just going to put my cardstock base right on the center line of my grid sheet. And then I'm just going to line up my DSP on those dimensionals. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some snail right in the window. And we're just going to push the oval through its die cut hole. Just like that. Get it to sit down in. See how easy that was? Oh, and then I'm going to add some mushrooms in there as well. forest floor can have some mushrooms on it. Just like that. Okay, so it's going together easily for us. So now let's go ahead and do our word. So like I said, I borrowed the I Just Love You stamp from Petal Palette. I'm going to put that on the center of this piece of scrap. I'm going to go ahead and add some more of our mushrooms to tie all of our images in together. And then that I'm just going to snail across the bottom of the card here. This one I think I'll bring down a little bit farther. So you can always put them on wherever you want to, but this one I think I'm going to put down there. Now this one I embellished with the mini gold sequins. So we're going to go ahead and do that again. So I need to cut 2 pieces, and they need to be a little bit wider than this piece. I'm going to wrap them around and tuck them on the back. So go ahead and cut 2 pieces of trim. Kind of a fun way to add a little bit of glitz to our cards. Now I'm going to use glue dots. And so what I'm going to do is take the side of my card, and because it's popped up, I feel I've got space under there, and I'm going to put a glue dot right on the edge. And then I'll put 1 piece of the sequins down, and I'm going to tuck that around and into the glue dot that I put there. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I just put the glue dot behind. Now I'm going to stretch the sequins across, and I'm going to tuck that behind the lifted up cardstock. If it cooperates with me, I will. Okay, so there's that, and then we're just going to do that again. So 2 glue dots. Now you could put this on with your fine tip glue if you want to. Just be careful you don't get too much on there that it seeps through your sequins trim. I don't think I would use the Tombow because that would definitely seep through the sequence holes, and then you'd end up with a sticky substance on the front, so we don't want that. So these I'm just tucking in behind where I want them to lay down, pulling the sequins across and tucking that behind the back side. And there we go. And then you can see for the envelope, I just went ahead and re-stamped the fox and a couple of the mushrooms, and we are good. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this little critter card with the Foxy Friends set with some fun embellishment. And remember, this was to play in the Freshly Made Sketches challenge. So if you're interested, you can check out their challenge and see all the other entries. Alright everybody, so that's it for today. Thumbs up and comments below are always appreciated. Remember to subscribe to the show and tell news so you get all the details and step-by-step instructions on how to case this card. And I'll see you next time. Thank you and happy stampin'!